Hello and welcome back. In this presentation, we will discuss several topics that need to be back to your awareness. The end of the Luciferian domination, the liberation of the feminine archetype Venus. Then we will discuss how you can assist in healing the mythos. Pluto has been asking for radical change, radical end, and new beginnings. Assisted by Mars and sometimes Mercury, we need to redirect our thoughts, the patterns that have been moving our life. Mars is connected to alignment and access, personal access and planetary access. When Pluto meets Mars and eventually Mercury, we need to bring the mind into alignment. Then we redirect old patterns with Mars, making sure that all our beliefs fit with the new self or the self that we want to manifest. We can do that rewriting our beliefs, what I call the lore or the mythos. In 2007, I published a post on the website archangelmichael.us that was called Life as a Metaphor. Life is a dream, a metaphor. Your life is a dream, a co-creation projected in the third dimension by the states of being of your 3D self, your higher self, merged with the reality initiated in and by the cosmic forces. Your life is the projection in the physical dimension of the will and desires of your true self, the spiritual one. Your true existence happens within invisible dimensions. The illusion is your physical existence. If you can enter the metaphor consciously, you will eventually be the laughing and happy witness of your life, of the movie produced by your soul. Your life will be the stage on which you will project your ideas and manifest them in mastery. Awareness is the capacity to discern what your divine self is doing. Perfection and ease occur when one, whether aware or not, aware of the will of the divine self, has surrendered and given to it the driver's seat. The behavior of the planet Mars at this time is asking us to surrender. When we surrender, we can start opening up to the messages sent by the soul, attempting to open our eyes and awareness. I'm not saying that it's easy. Living in 3D, we are constantly searching for the right balance between doing and surrendering. The second and huge concept that we must now change is the mythos, the stories, mostly religious, that we have based our culture and life upon. Humankind as a whole must heal the mythos, change the metaphoric universe it has created to align with the updated Milky Way, the updated frequency of the universe, and of the updated configuration of the body that you are a part of. In fact, the Creator's body. The Creator has to change. You need to change too. Fun enough. An example. While rewriting this page, I received the name of a Bible scholar writing about the expression, the Bible, the Elohim. Elohim, as we know, is a plural. But this term has arbitrarily been changed in most versions of the Bible to the word God, singular, one God, and with a capital G. We know now that it is not correct. So all these concepts and ideas by which we attempt to connect with the universe and with the consciousness of the universe, all these beliefs that have dictated our mode of relationship with the other worlds and dimensions, all this has to change. In other words, we have accepted definitions for this or that, for what the universe or the gods are. We have related with what we thought about the universe. Now we have to reset our minds. And then with updated ideas, we will have a new type of relationship with the universe and with the deities. Using the mythos, we are still looking at Jupiter, Venus, and Pluto, eventually in the way they were described by the Greeks or the Romans. How does this relate with the heart-mind of the Creator? We have accepted and repeated visions and realities that are now obsolete, passé. There is truth to all this. There was truth. But maybe these truths need to be redirected. This is another quote from my website, 1999. Truly, what are spiritual consciousnesses? Wow. Spiritual beings. What face can you give to them without shrinking them at or to your scale, in the same way that you have been shrinking God, him or herself, or itself? Isn't it what we do? That's what religions and mythos are. Attempts to describe, rationalize things that are too difficult for our brains to process. Remember, in the cosmos, there are only frequencies, forces, which sometimes and temporarily, when necessary, put on a costume, a form, human or not, an illusion. As you are, as humankind is in the process of overcoming the body, you must rise above the past and open yourself to brand new insights that will ease the transmutation of your brains, your body, and the world. This is the final sprint for the reconciliation between two frequencies, between what we call two bloodlines, the Luciferian and the Michael bloodline. Following the divine's embrace of its manifested self and creation, humankind as a whole and as a part of the cosmic body needs to heal. We must heal the collective mind and the collective dream that humans have created, eventually with Lucifer. Let's use the metaphor, the stories that we rely upon to understand what had been going on. Do you remember the story of Cain and Abel in the Bible? Two brothers. One is a farmer, the other one, shepherd. God approves Abel's sacrifice over his brothers. Cain got jealous and killed Abel. Cain then became the patriarch and ancestor of human kings. Details are found in my book, Amen, page 330 and following. Have you realized that according to this story, all humans are the descendants of a bad guy? Was this God stupid to give power to the perceived bad person? Or was it a cosmic necessity? And who are we now? We are now moving from a world based on material, substance, and frequencies to a more spiritual world. So the powers that were allowed to control and shape humans, like Cain, including the Luciferian frequency and archetype, cannot and shall not continue ruling and manipulating earthlings. The Luciferian frequency is connected to the descent, or going away from the divine. Keep in mind the rebellion story. This is over. Venus, as the inverted pentagram or inverted five-pointed star, is something from the past. Venus associated with Lucifer has changed. True love can only exist within the realm or the world of the energies of the upright heart, the updated heart. The form building power of Venus was updated. We'll go back to these. Venus gives the pattern of form building. This geometrical pattern at the cosmic level was updated. In the Creator's body, form is no more constrained to the world of matter. Let's repeat. In the Creator's body, in the Milky Way that you are a part of, form is no more constrained to the world of matter. Although I cannot prove it, I suspect that something has already changed in the Milky Way and will soon impact the Earth. The rulership, the power, is now in the hands of spirit, which means under the responsibility of a group of beings serving the frequency of the light, the original intent for the design of humankind. This change does not imply judgment or 3D distraction or removal of the team or individuals who have worked under Luciferian mandate. However, at the soul level, everyone, human or not, is asked to let go or to integrate the past, working on the merging of the frequencies of light and darkness. Everyone is asked to demonstrate with actions that they have the will the intent to turn around and serve the interests of the team of the light, the interest of the team of the Archangel Michael, the pillar of the light in this system, the anchor. Also, if there is enough awareness and knowledge, the important players must concede and surrender to the new spiritual government. Shall repeat. If there is enough awareness and knowledge, the important players must surrender to the new spiritual government. This is the meaning of true love. The will and ability to come together and be one within the cosmic body and consciousness. All these ideas, these frequencies have been anchored when Venus conjunct Saturn in Pisces. This transit is and was meaningful because the path of the deity, as evidenced by the position of the lunar nodes in Pisces, requires a shift to the higher octave of Pisces. Neptune, ruler of Pisces, is the higher octave of Venus. The manifestation or creation, the energies of Saturn, must be more refined, a reflection of the new standards. Both Venus and Neptune are aspects of love, yet at a different frequency. Venus is now in its evening star trajectory and will be until March 2025. And yes, Neptune could be pointing at the world of illusions, fake news, etc. That's basic astrology. However, the converging planetary cycles, Neptune and Saturn merging in Aries, Aries being the launching pad of the deity's intent, indicate a dissolving, losing of material, of the frequency. Okay, I need to reread that because English was difficult for me. Because of the converging planetary cycles, the end of about 13,000 years and the beginning of the position of who is in Aries at this time. Yes, Neptune and Saturn merging in Aries. Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. That's why I call it the launching pad of the deity's intent. So all this shows the necessity for the matter, the crystallization coming from Saturn, to be more subtle. We are coming out of matter, dematerialization. If humankind must ascend in any way physically, then we have to submit to this frequency and integrate more subtle vibrations. The planet is immersed in higher frequencies, and humans are asked to focus on spiritual matters, Pisces, because it is time to refine your bodies and your brains. The molecular structure of human bodies is shifting. It seems like repetitions, but that's a lot for some people to take in. because of the half cycle that humankind just ended, according to the precession of the equinoxes, the descending cycle, away from the divine, which is the divine is light and self consciousness. So, because of the descending cycle, the manifested world, all of it has been under the rule of the material energy known as darkness, going away from the origin. And the origin is light, light, data, awareness, not AI, by the way. So we went away from knowing, understanding, perceiving, and we need to go back with more understanding, more awareness, more light, higher frequency. The darkness has taken many forms, many names. Lucifer is just an aspect of it. It is the archetype for non-integrated self-affirmation. It contradicts love, as love is and innately feels unity with the whole, with the Creator's heart-mind. It is a detour of the soul into personality and basic ego, which, unable to recognize its belonging to the infinite, is unable to surrender to greater intelligence and purpose. I'm going to read that again. This is important. Lucifer, the Judeo-Christian archetype of Lucifer, is an aspect of the darkness. It is the archetype of non-integrated self-affirmation. I am this, I am that, I am better than you, I know better. Well, this contradicts love. Love doesn't go away. It feels the need for unity, unity with the whole, with the Creator's heart-mind. Going away with Lucifer is the detour of the soul. The soul who wants to experience personality and basic ego. The ego that does not recognize its belonging to the infinite. The ego that is unable to surrender to greater intelligence and purpose. I am better than God. I can do it on my own. That's Lucifer. To update our vocabulary, let's speak in terms of ETs. Intergalactic wars that are more than ever the topic of conversations on the web are adjustments within the galactic body in search of perfection. At the Earth level, we need to focus on personal strengths and integrity of our essence, not letting the chaotic and manipulative outside world invade our heart and mind. Well, if you want to read more esoterical details about the story of the two brothers, Cain and Abel, you can go to my book, Amen, page 333 and following. I will only read one of the conclusions for you, otherwise it's too complicated and I know my videos are too long. Cain incarnates the dense material principle to which kingship was granted. The idea of power and kingship stems from the root can, kin, or Cain. This is a root that is still found in the modern world. So, the most important aspect of the present shift is that the leadership on the planet, who is the king, who is ruling, what is ruling, is no more in the hands of the wicked as symbolized and represented in the Bible or in the Judeo-Christian religions as Cain or Babylon. We will speak about Babylon. It is interesting that all religious books, we are still speaking about mythology, the mythos that we are to heal. All religious books tell the same stories, a little differently, different spices, according to cultures. The Bible main narrative is not about the Jews, for instance. This is something that we have to rewire in our brain. But about the battle between good and evil, or descension, ascension played out throughout time. Genesis, the Genesis in the Bible is supposed to tell us about the creation, and the apocalypse about the end of the world, and the coming of a divine kingdom or the rule of the light, whatever divine might be. The epic and tribulations of the Jews amongst their enemies are also a metaphor. They are hiding the occult story of the divine, present throughout history amongst humans. The Michaelic bloodline that was once hiding amongst the Jews. The story of the flight out of Egypt in the Old Testament is eventually based on the journey of the hidden divine bloodline out of Egypt, or with an ET twist. We're not going to speak about ETs now. So the story of the flight of Egypt was based on the journey of the divine bloodline out of Egypt, or the journey of the gods amongst humans. The Jews took on themselves the karma of becoming the chosen people. They created a heavy karma for themselves. This is discussed again in the Amen book, page 351. What is important is that true power has always belonged to deities or entities, to the gods. All decisions, all initiatives originate from the inner planes, from the invisible dimensions, from the lining or spiritual planes, and very few in 3D can access those worlds. For those who communicate with the inner planes, or are chosen to be the bridges between spirit and 3D, only those are the true rulers here. Otherwise, rulers and politicians are just manipulated by forces that live outside of the 3D world. Throughout history and in many cultures, we find the same stories, the same elements. And they say true power belongs to spirit. Even if humans follow and give their support to temporal power. For a long time, the two sides were represented by the administrative rulers, the governments, the warriors, and on the other side, the spiritual system, religions and priests, the kings and the religion. In India, in the Eastern tradition, the story is the antagonism between the Brahmins and the kshatriya, or warriors. There are interesting details on this subject in the French book translated from René Guénon. His book is Spiritual Authority and Temporal Power. It describes the taken over of the kshatriyas, or the warriors. And when the warriors take over the spiritual leaders, the Brahmin, then things go bad, astray. The kshatriyas were no longer satisfied to be second in the social hierarchy, although this position gave them the right to exercise all exterior and visible power. This is a quote. Looking for full independence, they revolted against Brahman's authority. History gave a striking confirmation. Temporal power ruins itself when denying its subordination to spiritual power. End of quote. I will repeat the last sentence. Temporal power ruins itself when denying its subordination to spiritual power. Guénon explains how Buddhism became corrupted when humans abandoned the spiritual order. The castes that became the awful instrument of enslavement centuries later were the metaphor of the spiritual hierarchies. It has something right, but humans tend to corrupt everything. Disaster hits when civilization is stripped down to mere human elements. Spiritual authority is linked to the heart mind of the Creator, and according to Guénon, to metaphysical knowledge, which is necessary to do things correctly on this planet. However, yes, knowledge is not enough. It has to be integrated into a lifestyle and expressed through the capacity to navigate spiritually. That is to say, with a more modern vocabulary, knowledge has to be integrated with the capacity to navigate multidimensionally, therefore to receive orders and to connect with the path that is created on the inner planes, so that we can be the right instruments in the hands of the hierarchies. The temporal and administrative power must follow the directives of spiritual power. What happens when the priests and religions become corrupted? A fall, a complete abandon to materialism, an absence of communication with true and spiritual power and worlds. This is exactly where we are now. Human civilization is at the brink of a monumental change, as evidenced by astrology and by the growing chaos. As proposed by the lunar nodal axis, humans must refocus on spiritual matters.